Hey guys, Ruben at SoCal Porting here. I got a VF48 in for an inspection. Customer claims that the turbochargers keep going out on his car, so I'm here to figure out why. Apparently he already had to replace one engine. This was off the blown engine. But looking at the turbo, right away, taking a look at the turbine shaft is saturating oil. Oil and grime inside the exhaust housing here, which typically is a sign of excessive crankcase pressures. If you've had a bad ring lamp, a lot of that crankcase pressure can actually back up the turbocharger, cause enough pressure in this cartridge to push oil out the seals. So this is just a piston ring seal that's on the inside. So if you were to blow air inside the oil feed, you'll hear air hissing out both sides. That's normal. But when you have the car running, oil's feeding through here, and if there's too much pressure in the crankcase, it's going to push it out. So when you take a look at this, it's showing you that, yeah, likely it was a blown engine. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep tearing it apart, see what I find. Whoa, there you go. So there goes the heat shield. And there is the piston ring I'm telling you about, with that gap on it. That should always be facing at 12 o'clock position. And, well, of course, it does look like oil is being pushed past that seal. The turbine shaft itself looks relatively clean. There's no signs of oil contamination, which is a good sign. No oil starvation issues, no overheating issues. So, could have just been a bad cylinder. But that's 100% rebuildable. Now what we got to do is just take this completely apart, spec everything out, clean it up, keep you updated. Alright, so I managed to take the compressor housing off. Take a look at the compressor wheel. And there's a nice little chunk missing out of it. But that's going to be alright. I know the customer's going to want to switch it out to a billet wheel. So that gets care of that. But once I take off the back plate, you can tell this has been an aftermarket cartridge before and has been replaced because somebody forgot to put silicone. Yeah, that's going to be another problem there. They're supposed to put some red silicone there, high temperature, seal that. It's not there. Also, if you guys ever try taking off these screws, they always strip. So one thing I like to do is grab a punch, smack the heads of those. It's going to go ahead and compress that brass and just take those screws out pretty easily. Other than that, this has just been an inspection. So far everything's looking good. Again, the turbine shaft looks clean. Now if it did have oil starvation, it'd probably end up looking like this. You can see the brass bearing just welding itself on to the turbine shaft there, grooving it out. That definitely needed to be replaced. That is oil starvation. Nothing like that going on with this turbo other than just pushing oil and not having any silicone there and having a chipped compressor wheel. So good thing we're taking this apart now and making sure this guy's going to be alright. So I'm going to send this over to the customer, get an approval, get this freshened up and cleaned up and rebuilt. Alright, thanks for watching guys.